It's going.
You said yeah.
No. It's giving me a little loading sign.
Disturb echoes, by the way.
Do what?
Disturb echoes really bad.
So,
Yeah, it's the acoustics are terrible.
So,
Yep.
cool. All right, I'm gonna call the meeting for August 22nd.
Yeah, it's going. Yep, 30 seconds.
First thing we need to do is approve the minutes for June 20th, 2019 regular session.
well, this is going to be difficult. Was I at that meeting?
I don't,
Yeah.
I thought you were gone at the last one.
No, one before, I think.
Oh.
Let's look at the
Were
minutes.
any of you here?
I will.
You were here.
Yeah.
But
You were here.
In an unofficial
You were
call.
here.
I was on the
Yeah.
I was there.
You were here.
All right, I moved to approve the minutes of the June 20th meeting. You got the
Second.
second. Yeah. And then
All
I'm
right.
abstaining, so it's really just me and you both.
All in favor? Done. All right, staff report.
Okay, report is in the packet. Some highlights of the report. All of you should have received an invitation to the strategic planning reconvene. I believe you guys have already registered, so kudos. That is September 18th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the high school. You shall plan on attending that. If you have any questions, ask the mayor or Nikki Lee about details of that. And then second, tomorrow is the Fox 4 zip trip. We at the courtyard, if anyone's available between 7 and 10 a.m., they'll be doing some live shots there and some stuff out at the campground. So that should be an exciting time. If you don't have anything going on, Chops is going to have biscuits and gravy.
Which are great.
So it'll be a fun time to be had by all, and hopefully a lot of the town will show up. And
That will start downtown.
that'll start at the courtyard. The stuff at the campground, that's kind of going to be at 7 o'clock and then done, is my understanding.
Just pretend you're going to be on the Price is Right, bring,
Big signs,
signs,
maybe
enthusiasm.
a silly costume.
Go Smithville.
They'll talk to you, get some giant tags.
And Danny, you asked about a dog park update, so I've been working with Cynthia trying to get that. We understand Clay County has submitted a plan to the Corps and is working out some of the details with that. We are ready to assist with the waterline portion of the dog park plan and installation as outlined in the agreement between the Board of Aldermen and the Clay County Commission.
Do you by any chance know when they submitted that? Like
No,
how far along that
I
process
don't. I
is?
don't have any.
I will say, when I asked like a week ago, from what I understood, it hadn't been submitted.
I think they're working on some of the finer.
Because the multiple people I've asked have been.
It's in the
Don't
process.
know. Cool.
Is kind of where
That's
we're at
awesome.
with that. So those are the highlights of my report.
Oh, goodness, sorry.
So one thing Brett didn't mention, I don't know that we have a copy with us.
What?
On Tuesday, they presented the first draft of the 2020 budget. So far, there's no changes by any of the
Right.
aldermen. So the two parks items for 2020 would be a basketball court at Heritage Park and a parking lot next to the new playground equipment at Heritage Park. So if nothing changes, that's what will happen at Heritage for 2020, plus the Main Street Trail. So the Main Street Trail will get us that driveway entrance to the new playground equipment and hopefully improve the entrance at Heritage Park. And potentially by then, the developer will also be working on the bathroom. So, all goes well.
You said the Main Street Trail will get us the entrance to where we're putting in the new parking lot?
Yes.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that'll be part of that engineering and construction. So we'll have the entrance first, and then we'll do
Okay.
the parking lot after that's in. Construction of the trail, we still don't have a start date because we are working with the engineers to get the plans. We'll have some public sessions, so we'll invite everyone to come in and look at those drawings. We're in the final stages of getting grant approval to get the extra $240,000 for that trail to add the amenities and things we had the engineers put in there. So since it's a federal grant, we have to work with their guidelines also. So hopefully that goes well, we get everything taken care of.
Several grants or a specific grant?
It's the Recreational Trails Program grant.
Single grant.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that include the safe access grants that they do?
No, this would be, it's not a safe route to school because there's no school access over there. And this was an already funded, so to do an RTP grant, you have to have pretty much plans in hand, money in hand, everything approved, but not started construction yet. And that's where we were at. So typically, cities like Kansas City that have a pretty robust trails program get those grants because they have a yearly trail budget. I think maybe Cowbush, McDonough, some of those other bigger cities have also done multiple years of the grant, which we could eventually get to that point as well, but we're not there.
And the state parks retains a lot of that for
Yeah,
their
state parks
projects.
too, yeah, Katy Trails.
So that,
So being that even getting it, the timing just worked out perfect for us.
great timing, yeah.
Great.
So it won't just be a concrete trail, it'll be a concrete trail and lighted crosswalks and with the button push, kind of things like that.
Enhanced crosswalks.
Enhanced crosswalks, yes.
Which would be really nice.
That'd be good.
And can you remind me again how far that extends? Does that go
It goes all the way to the dam
all the way to the dam?
1.3 miles.
Awesome.
from Heritage Park.
Well, Liberty Road. Liberty Road and Main.
Yeah, and we actually put in a second, there is an addition in there that takes it all the way to where Streetscape ended. So if the price comes in right, we'll be able to take it all the way to where Streetscape ends right now. And then phase 3 of Streetscape will be commercial to Liberty Road also. So either way, or commercial to Heritage Park.
You're gonna be able to get there.
Either way, we're gonna have new sidewalks and stuff from
I
downtown.
made sure to show the people from the grant division of the state parks, I took them all the way down to 169, and hey, look at this.
Yeah, it gets you to 169, gets you back into the bike lanes, gets you all the way
Awesome. They
connected. So.
they liked what they saw, for sure.
Do you know when the public sessions will be held on that?
Probably in the next month or so.
We'll
signed the-
definitely let you guys know on that.
I just signed the contract today on South Commercial sidewalks. That's all ready to proceed, so. Construction should be underway with that soon. There will be no road closures with that. So that'll go from Hills of Shannon to the high school. It might be some lane closures or things with no full-time closures.
On the staff report, you guys said that we got our first bench for the new playground.
Yes.
Who was it that donated it?
Samantha Jones.
Samantha Jones, in memory
For
of
her daughter,
Mackenzie.
Macklin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
And then, what, can you, so I understand how, what the process is. What's the price amount on that
I think
usually?
it's $300.
No, they're close to 6.
Oh, 600.
6?
Yeah.
Okay,
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
that's cool. Are they usually the same amount going to that same company?
Yeah, it's, right, it's diversified manufacturing out here in
And
Smithville.
we have a place for 2 of them at Wildflower right now, right?
Really?
Didn't you guys do 2 bench bump outs at Wildflower? Or?
Those are ADA turnarounds.
That's what I thought they were originally, but
They could be.
yeah,
We could just add,
add a little more space. there.
add a little more on there, but yeah, those are,
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. So it's approximately $600?
Yeah, right around
Okay.
$600.
How does that work? Is it just a donation made to, is it to the?
We just have them pay for it directly and
Oh,
there's
Yeah,
no
so-
cover.
okay,
Sign
that's
right
cool.
So she
In our-
report to the Parks and Rec to like a recommendation, and we sent it to Cynthia. She approved it, and then
Yeah,
we'll give
and
them the go-ahead.
our plan is to pour bigger pads rather than just pour them one at a time so we can set them in kind
Yeah.
of, we've been doing it at the courtyard. Trying to, really put 2 or 3 in a row, trash can type stuff. So
I just
that's.
never knew what the process was, so that's good to
Yeah.
know for.
Yeah, just have them call out there to the shop, talk to myself or Matt and
Okay.
get them squared away and
That's really
then
neat.
send them up to Kevin up there.
Speaking of stuff like that, we actually had a problem this year that we don't think we've ever had. We have more people want to sponsor stuff than we have
Really?
sponsorships for.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
That's great.
We
Good.
don't have enough movie nights to pay for all the movie nights.
Well, and we cut it down
We start
this year
stacking them up
from
for
last
next
year too. so-
We're adding the second one in September already, so that's paid for.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so.
Like
That's,
that,
yeah, that's awesome.
Good
Very
deal.
cool. All right, any other questions on staff report? Anything else to add, Brett?
Those are the highlights for sure.
Okay.
Hey Jesse, you gonna be vice chair? Since you've been here the longest, next to Danny. You only have to run the meetings if she's gone. It's good for your resume.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Why not? It's next on the agenda.
All right, do we need to approve staff report? I don't know why. Okay. All right, so election of vice chairman.
I nominate Josie Billings as vice chair.
Okay. Josie, would you
You can
accept
decline it if you're.
that nomination?
I mean, I don't even think.
Don't feel like you have to. It's totally up to you. But if you
It'd
want
just
it.
be if you were gone.
Yep. which has happened twice, I think.
Yeah,
so.
for real. So like, I'm not that worried about it, but I mean that'd be cool.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Do you want a minute to think about it?
You
good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any other nominations before we move on? Okay. All right. So we do need a second. Yes. Oh, that has to be me. Yes. Second.
No, they can.
No, it doesn't have to be me. Okay. I don't know.
Too
why I
late
thought
now,
we were
you've
back in the
seconded.
minutes. Oh, yes. So second. I second you. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, we have to roll call this one, don't we?
And you abstain.
Okay.
So,
Call,
aye.
okay. Danny, aye.
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 Molly? Mayor?
Aye.
Josie?
You abstain. Yeah, you have to
Okay.
abstain. Yeah. All right. Motion passed. We have a new vice chair.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So next on our agenda is Bike Race and Dam Run.
Damn weekend. The new goal of
Yes.
every meeting is to see how many times we can say that. Got flyers? Matt can bind them. We have QR codes on everything now.
Can I have that one? Thank you.
So the 27th in Smithville is homecoming. The 28th is our now going to be third gravel grinder. And it's the Chamber Barbecue Contest. And Show Me Realty is sponsoring Cassie Joy that evening. So she will be performing in the square that evening. Award ceremony is at 3 o'clock for the bike race. I need volunteers and people to sign up. You can go to this link on either one of these and sign up to be a volunteer. If you want to be a volunteer and you want a t-shirt, make sure you sign up before September 1st. If you're going to be a volunteer, don't care about a t-shirt, sign up after, it's fine. Can't guarantee a t-shirt. You might get the ugliest t-shirt we have. And it'll say volunteer and Sharpie on it. So, and then on the 29th, the last 15 years, the Rotaries had the dam run. They had voted this year not to do the dam run because they lost some of their members that had helped with that. So, not wanting to give up an event that's already that weekend and everything else is going on. The city's taking that on. We signed an MOU on Tuesday. The city's responsibility is chip timing, which we already have a chip timer in town for the gravel grinder, and the bibs that people wear, getting Chris Cakes here, which we've already done, and insurance and the facility.
Marketing.
The Rotary is going to provide at least 15 volunteers, so don't feel obligated to volunteer there. If you want to, great. It is pet friendly. You can bring your dogs and run with them. There's a 1 mile option and there's a 5.
There's a walk.
My girl's a tenderfoot. She gets blisters on her paws after
But
like
the-
a quarter of a mile.
No, the 1 mile though is a Lake remote.
Oh, okay. I may actually run the 5K. I think that might be what I'm going to
Okay.
do soon.
You can get your personal record because it's literally across the dam, turn around, come back, and down the hill.
Oh, so we don't have to go up the hill this year.
No, you go up the hill.
You go up
but-
the hill and then back.
Yeah.
It
I thought
starts
that
at
was the
bottom.
conversation we had
Starts at
last
the
time
top.
was it starts at the top.
Yeah, it starts at the top. Yeah, you have to walk to the top to the starting line.
Okay.
And you start at the intersection of the Linton Way.
It's a good warm-up.
Run all the way across, loop, come all the way back, and then downhill.
Yeah.
So it's down, Litton Way,
Yep.
Yep.
starting at like F and Litton Way.
Yes. Well, D, it was double D in Linton Way.
Main
But
Street.
you run to F, and then you turn around and back.
Or, yeah, not quite to,
Yes.
not quite to F. yeah.
Thinking about up the hill, top.
Yeah, you run to pretty much the water tower, and then come back, and then down the hill.
And that's fine.
Cool.
You can definitely get a personal record.
You can, if you're gonna get a personal record on the
It's
5K.
less hills than I've been doing, so
Yeah.
that's not too bad. That's exciting.
I would
And-
love to do either or both of those, but we're gonna be, my wife's got a conference in Montreal, so.
At least something. Did you guys reserve the group camp area?
For the
For that
bike ride.
weekend?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't see it on the
we got
calendar yet, so.
It's on the park,
The
like.
public one.
The public, because
Okay.
That goes to the online system.
Okay.
So it may not be on ours, which I think is the one you're looking at.
Yeah, because what I told some
We'll put
of
it-
the,
we'll put it on
what I
ours.
told some of the Rotary people too is like, if you guys want to just stay out there that night, because they have to start 6 a.m. setting up and stuff, I'm like, just bring your tent, we'll have the group camp area.
So,
set up,
yeah,
stay
we
out.
moved the Boy Scout area to where we do like ball field reservations and everything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Will
it's
these
blocked off.
QR
on-
codes get me to a volunteer space
Yeah,
where
so
people can
on
sign
either
up?
one of these registration pages at the bottom, there's a volunteer
Okay.
sign up.
Is there a designated link just for those? I was gonna post them on the CAC page, just to make sure that it's out there, so.
Yeah, it's the same link, once you get to those
Okay.
links. And I've shared them as well, I think Amanda shared them on the CAC.
Okay,
But yeah, at the bottom is a volunteer sign up. On the dam run, there's a special category for Rotary volunteer, don't sign up for that one, sign up for. There's a student volunteer also, because I know
There's a gravel, right?
some of the lunatic runners, the high schoolers can only run in 2 events a year. So some of them will not run because they ran in the lunatic run already.
okay.
So they'll probably, some of them may volunteer. But Rotary is on the hook for 15, which should be plenty. For the gravel grinder, Kelly's gonna take care of getting everything going in Plattsburgh. So if you wanna go hang out there in Plattsburgh or finish line here, Eric Craig is sponsoring the 25. He's gonna do the sign up for that. He'll probably do something up in Gallery again,
What are your route options?
25, 50, and 80.
And is it, where's it starting?
On the bridge. So since the barbecue contest and Junkville is going on that day, Junkville has so far has the most vendors they've ever had signed up already.
Cool.
The barbecue contest, I think, is the same situation. And I think Kiwanis does their water stuff. I think they're going to do that on Main Street this year in front of City Hall because it was too hot over here or something. So I think we're going to have 30 plus barbecue teams, plus over 50 Junkville vendors probably. So we're going to have the finish line right in front of the Apollo House. So in front of the Montessori, Kelly K can set up some stuff down there. But we're going to need to set up some tables so that when they come to the finish line, we'll have tables with water and everything to hand it to them right there. And then let them know it's 3 o'clock for the awards so they can hang out downtown. And then watch Cassie Joy.
We all need extra space down around that area.
No, we'll probably need to talk about getting a couple of those bike racks again from Johnson County. There's probably 2. And then we'll just set them up across the street from us in front of Flowers there.
Okay.
But that way people will be able to see the distillery from the finish line also. Barbecue teams are going to set up on Main Street, on commercial, most of commercial.
I'm sure the North Lake Elders would let you use the
Yeah.
green space over there if you need it, so.
Yeah, if even if North Lake wants to do anything too, we can.
Cool.
They can. Yeah, there's a lot going on that weekend. And then the following weekend's Oktoberfest, so we're stacked and booked from September 7th all the way through. So starting September 8th is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Week in Smithville. So 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th, we have events.
Yeah, like Nehemiah Fest is going on at Smith Fork that one, like the 14th, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and then the 12th is the State of Our Community Dinner, which is at the school district, where all the community, us, police, fire, school district, NRAD, chamber are all going to present what's gone on in Smithville this past year.
And the strategic plan reconvene
Yeah, is that same
that we
week
talked about too, yeah. So
yeah.
busy.
Yeah, Saturday night, the 14th, I think it's the 14th, yeah, it's Friday the 13th this year. So the 14th is a Suicide Remembrance Walk, and then that night we're showing Inside Out.
Cool. That's a good
And
one.
St. Luke's is sponsoring that Sunday, the 8th, I think it is a community multi-church service in the square as well.
All right, anything else on the bike race, Dameron? Okay.
We have a lot going on.
Smith's Fork Trails. Who's got that? Is that you again?
This is Molly's favorite thing. So, for at least a year now, Molly's been talking to me about Smith's Fork Trails. These are the only, by the way, other than 180th Street now, these were our only trails a year ago. Right?
Well, we had a half mile at Heritage
The
Park.
Heritage Park, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the circle.
the sidewalk, okay.
I'm gonna step away for just a
So
second.
these are our unimproved trails. I've had a few different people contact me about this. 3.1 miles out there.
Yeah, that's what it says, that's what we have online at least, so.
So a really nice lake out there. There's, you can see, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, it's a little
Like
shaded there.
right in the middle of the color change.
Yeah, so, I know Molly had kind of threw together a group on Facebook Messenger for us to chat through that. But since these are already done, If we wanted to do any improvements, we don't need to get the core on that, or would we have to do it?
Shouldn't be if we're improving what's already there.
So if we want to do anything, we just need to get a group together and go out. Kind of what they've been doing at the lake anyway. People go through there, trim branches, do all that kind of stuff. If we can get a designated spot to kind of put that stuff, or if we throw it in the woods, whatever you guys want us to do. Frank Justice also runs the Smithville Historic Trails and Museums organization as well, which is the Patterson House down the street. He's working on getting us this road that comes off, if you're going down that highway, you went straight. So ideally, the only other path we really need here is from that highway down this yellow line that we see this is boundary, and then we already have that red line that comes right across. It's kind of flat. So if we could go from there and then straight out, that would give us a nice flatter path for people that don't want to go through the mountain bike adventure. So Frank is working on that for us now, because he really wants to grow the trails in Smithville. He has a knowledge of all the land and people and things to try to get that pulled together. But if not, you can see along that boundary we do have some land there. If anybody ever wanted to scout it out or figure out any other trails, or another good place for benches is around that lake. But
There are bunches of them,
there's a
yeah.
couple of ones, yeah. But if they want to do a
Squirrel
memorial
Ranch.
bench, another place. But yeah, so we just, Molly had asked about it, so I'm gonna make sure we talk about it, and if she has any questions, we got Brett here.
Is there a budget for this?
Not right now, but that's, the budget for next year is pretty much set, but what we can do is, just like we did with the RTP, if you guys find grants that are out there, and I know a lot of them are in-kind match, things like that, the city can't apply for some of those. So I've looked at a lot of this kind of trail grants. Frank's group can. Since they're a 501c3 nonprofit, they could, and that's, I had a meeting with Frank in here last night, and Catherine, who's in charge of the Historic Society, and Frank wants to be on this board as well, so he's either gonna start attending meetings, or get on it. We got a couple of interviews to go through, that's whatever. He's fine with going after that, and Catherine's friends with the guy that runs the KC Loudmouth website, so he's been doing a lot of trails. What the city would do is provide letters of support and things like that, which is part of those grant programs. And then if we have things out at the Parks barn that you would need to use, we could look at that as well.
And is the interest just in better cleaning up, maintaining, or improving, growing, or?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, we might need to alter the terrain a little bit. It's pretty
So it's
chunky.
been
for some
years
of
since
the-
I've been out there
Yeah,
on
so
those
that
trails.
might mean, bringing in some dirt or gravel, or maybe, constructing some water crossings, like wooden bridges and things like that, so, stuff like that.
And are these hiking only, are they bike
No,
also?
they're biking trails.
Is the Earth Riders group?
That's what Molly's been trying
Oh,
to
are
get.
you in there?
them
Okay.
engaged.
I was a board member, last year, and, I'm not anymore, but I still know all the people. on it,
Yeah.
So I work, I know them all.
Okay.
Yeah. And they've spent most of their time with the Clay County trails, because in the past,
Off smoking
the
days.
city really didn't have a lot of.
We helped with, Martin helped us in trail building out there.
Yeah, I think, well, Earth Riders doesn't have anything to do with trail building, they're just a social group that has
Okay.
meetings, but it's Urban Trail Company,
Okay.
or that, Urban Trail Code does all they maintain and fund a lot of the trails in the Kansas City area.
And then the other funding option we have is our Smithville Legacy Fund, which is, the info's on our website, I've shared it before. Same thing with like the dog park group. That's the city's nonprofit that can accept money and fund for Smithville. I've done some fundraising on that. I don't know what our balance is. It's a couple $1,000s right now. So we can also look at some of that money for smaller expenses, like that we did with the Wildflower Bridge, which we still have some lumber left. They need to get up there and finish the ramps on it. But Major Lumber has always been really easy to work with, like getting us a good deal and stuff. And he builds houses in town too, so if there's ever like,
Oh, yeah.
Scrap we could
totally
use.
Scraps
Yeah.
and stuff that they need out there.
yeah,
We also looked into a, input grant.
okay.
That was last winter that we talked about that, but we had missed the deadline
Yeah.
for it. So,
So, yeah,
we're looking at that, and
yeah.
then we could make the deadline this year
Yep.
to apply for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So with the legacy fund, it's a real easy, if we find something like that to match it, and we get a funding source, it's an email to the board to say, yeah, this is what we want to point it to. We just don't have enough money in it yet.
Right,
It's
that
been
would
around
be-
for 8 years and we had $0 until 6 months ago, so.
I'm sure that would be much easier because the INVA grant, they have to have a trail builder come in and oversee the project. They're very involved in it. They will give you like a lot of money, but they're very involved and they want a bunch of say in it. So if we could get it elsewhere, that would probably be much easier.
Well, yeah, and that, you know, that brings up another point. The board is discussing, with the citizen-based strategic plan, if you look at the results, which I'm sure you've all studied those in detail, the city ideal path that the citizens have picked from all the sessions we've had and surveys and everything was the scenario that you were at the meeting called All That in a Lake, which is the top corner, which says they want the city to invest heavily in infrastructure, which is trails, roads, bridges, everything. And we don't want to put all that tax burden on the citizens that are here. We want to bring in new business, leverage our relationship with the airport, things like that. So today I had a meeting with the deputy director of Kansas City Airport to see how we can start doing that and how we can leverage ecotourism with companies, because he's working with airlines and they want to grow people that are getting on planes. So how do we get people to get on planes to come here and ride our trails or go to our ride? So that's the direction we want to go in. So if we put on the ballot a sales tax similar to what we do with downtown and the bridges and all those other things, the most we can do at a time on any particular thing is a half-cent sales tax, and the board is discussing that right now. So if we get some sort of funding mechanism in place like that, then every year we have a pool of money to look at that is dedicated to parks. Right now, everything in parks comes out of general fund. Our entire general fund revenues right now is right about $4 million. And the police department alone is about 1.9 of that.
Is how much?
1.9 million. I think that's what the latest budget says, somewhere around there. What's your budget total?
600 change.
Without capital improvements?
No, that's with the,
Yeah. So that's with the
yeah, it was like 6.
without, with the 130.
Right.
Or whatever.
Mhm.
So you're $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
So 1.8 for police, $500,000 currently going to parks. The rest is whatever happens in here. And right now, building permits in Smithville, we're at 30 for the year. For the last 3 years in a row or so, we've been over 100 at this point. We've only had 30 new houses go up in Smithville this year. 30 building permits get issued this year. That is significantly lower.
Does that include the townhouses in Creek?
That's all done. That was last year. Those permits were all issued last year. So
How many of them went to them?
last year, it's like 40 buildings, whatever it is, 32 buildings.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I'd wondered actually how many they had in there,
100,
in that space.
124 or something. We have no lots available in Smithville. Greyhawk is behind. You live right by it, you see it's not going, nothing's going up right now. They're doing their work. This one up here is behind by the high school. They haven't even started their infrastructure. Hills of Shannon, I don't think they've started their expansions yet. The one by Wildflower is not going yet. There's no shovel-ready dirt in town. The only shovel-ready dirt we have is a couple lots of commercial. So Jack doesn't know the exact years. It's been about a decade since we built a new commercial building. We have 2 issued already this year. We probably have a couple more coming this year. So Taco Bell's is issued, and then the RV storage facility, I think, is the other one that's issued. White Iron Ranch has dirt moving, so.
Is the Taco Bell, was that gonna be by the Commons, by the
Marketplace.
grocery store and all that?
We knocked out the sign.
It's not the comments
Whatever it's
anymore.
called, sorry.
No, you're fine. That, the Commons isn't, it's not gonna go away anytime soon, it was the Commons for so
Yeah.
long.
10 years, yeah.
I have it, I just haven't really seen it.
Just drive by it.
I don't know.
The holes
Oh,
are
at the
deep-
marketplace? Oh, yeah.
The holes are deep enough that you can see this much of the backhoes when they drive into them.
It's also bigger than what I guess imagined it was gonna be, cause like that dirt goes all the way up on
Yeah,
the ridge.
there's a lot going on.
That's the fill to backfill, so yeah, it goes way north. I think it's double the size of where Kearney put their price drop.
And I feel like I heard this in one of our meetings at one point, but it's a very vague memory at this point. But is part of that possibly designated for a future community center? Or some kind of, like there's some space in there that might be a something at some point?
Anyway, moving on to new business.
Is that a no?
Does anybody have any new business?
Hey, I'm running this meeting, I asked a question.
It's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it.
Under new business? It's just a question.
There is no.
Nothing currently in the plans?
We did a feasibility study with the YMCA, the price tag they gave us for building and operations for the first, because we'd be in the negative the first couple of years, would be about a $20 million price tag. And as we were just talking, and I just ran these numbers for the kiddos for tomorrow, we have in excess revenues every year that we can kind of use for discretionary things, which is like what we're doing with. We're actually dipping into savings to do Heritage Park, and we dipped into savings to do the Heritage Park playground equipment. We have about $50,000 a year. That's what we have in discretionary. So it take about 400 years to pay off that loan if somebody could give us $20 million.
Yeah.
And we just, yeah, so that's why we're looking at park sales tax, we're looking at partnerships with other private-public partnerships, if we're gonna ever do anything like a community center. But that's where the survey is leading us to, is people want amenities. Our population density is 500 a square mile. If you look at most retailers, they want it to be about 11 to 1300 per square mile. And they want traffic counts over 20,000 a day. And the only place we have that is 92 and 169. We don't have available land there. The land around Security Bank is out of city limits. It's one parcel that's 70 plus acres, and they want to sell it in the parcel. So we need to find some rich uncles or aunts to come in and buy that for us, annex it into the city, subdivide it, and let some commercial go in there. So, yes, it's a.
Good luck with that.
But we need commercial. We need commercial growth. So commercial is assessed but higher than what your house is assessed. I'm really hopeful that we will have a new business that will be coming in the next year that'll have a decent head count and decent square footage count. So,
Are you hoping for an ambiguous company or a specific company?
there's stuff I'm working on. Stuff there goes.
Okay,
But
All right.
I think the marketplace is near sold out.
yeah.
So that Porter's is committed, the Price Chopper will go there, Taco Bell is already permitted. There's one other food place I know of that's looking in there, and then they're talking about doing apartments
Oh,
in
really?
that land. So,
Are they gonna do them similar to what they did at Zona where they're like upstairs or
No.
just a separate building?
it'll be a separate building. On any of the plans I've seen. That retail condo mix thing
Yeah.
goes with it. They're doing it in Gladstone, it's great for that kind of space.
Cool.
I'd love to see that downtown. That's what we have this lot.
Yeah,
This lot we offer for pretty much anybody can make an offer if you know something on it.
Do we know what's happening with this ever?
Eric Craig's office? It looks
No,
immaculate.
that's not what I'm talking about. The red brick building
We
across the
can
street.
talk after.
Okay. All right, new business. Anybody?
Let's discuss the location of where we're going to put the basketball court at a future meeting in Heritage Park, as long as everything, by the time we have our next meeting, the budget should be approved.
Pretty close, huh? Two
Because
meetings,
it'll be-
is that in the 2 meetings in September? Is that not when that's gonna be approved?
Yeah, I think the second meeting of October, or first meeting in October. Do we need to have a
So it'll
September
be,
meeting?
it'll be half approved.
Do we need to have a September meeting?
I don't have anything, unless you know something coming up that I don't.
No, I think we'll see.
It's another busy month.
Yeah, I think we'll
It
see
reminds
what
me,
it is.
yeah.
I'd love all of you to be in strategic planning. I'm for the community engagement sessions. I wanted that you know, everyone to take that seriously and try to show up, at least take the survey at the very minimum. That's what we found is at this session, so.
It was eye-opening. It was a neat presentation at that.
Yeah, if you haven't met David yet,
It's,
he's a good facilitator.
yeah, it's quite a, they're taking quite a look
He's
at
going
a lot of things.
Yeah, and he's going to facilitate a meeting between our board and the school board before the reconvening.
Are you about the guy who facilitated the
Yes.
visiting?
David
Yes.
Burrell.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I'll tell you, the demographic information was really interesting to me at the beginning.
And he did, have you guys looked at, so we've released the benchmarking survey, or benchmarking study, and then the actual study based on, so make sure you look at both of those and try to get the reconvene. He's going to present to all of the high school also, because those kids will be some of our ages in 10 years, some of yours. You'll be 10 years old.
It's going to take a long time.
We'll all be 10 years older, but
So think about that in 10 years. You'll be Danny's age. No.
you might be my age. I don't think you'll be my age. You'll have more time on you than to be my
Definitely in 20.
Definitely in 20 years.
Yeah, because we're
You'll
looking
be
at 2040 also.
Yeah, or 40 for me.
I have one question. That, the trail that's going out to the dam, I meant to ask this earlier.
The Main Street Trail?
Yeah, the one, when we talked about before, one of the budget items was to possibly put, like an all year round bathroom up by Heritage Park. And there was the possibility that that might get included in that trail.
Developers going to pay for it.
Did that get taken? That's what I'm asking. Is that part of that?
That's what, so.
Or is it separate?
That's
It's
separate.
not
Okay.
included in the trail
Okay.
application.
So whenever you build a subdivision and people that just were here Tuesday got to see this on all the math of it, there's a parks impact fee for every subdivision that comes in. There's a sewer and water impact fee too, but you guys don't care about this. There's a parks impact fee that per lot they have to pay, because each one of those houses is going to have an impact on the park system. So what we discussed with the developer, since they're already going to be mobilized, they're already going to be building houses, they're already going to owe us nearly $70,000 in park impact fees, because it's like almost $700 per lot, and they're putting 130-ish lots. You're already mobilized, you already got the people here, you know how to build bathrooms, you're building the houses, build it for us.
Cool.
So that's the conversation we've had. So when they start building the houses, that's what, the same thing with the splash park.
Just like the
Like,
splash pad.
Yeah.
Splash
Yep,
pad.
you got
So
Where are we
it's
on
not
the
gonna be their
splash
highest priority, but they'll finish it before they finish the.
Blackball.
Yeah, what happened?
Splash pad
It's,
happening?
it's
Black
staked,
out there, it's
yeah,
staked off.
I think it's gonna
They've been
be,
working on the pool,
trying to get that done first.
Will it be done before the snow?
depends on the rain.
Okay.
They can't get equipment back there when it's muddy.
Yeah. Where exactly is it gonna be?
There's 4 stakes out
It's
there.
staked out there,
So if you go to Clay Creek, pull into the new parking lot by the pool, you'll see the 4 stakes.
kind of straight
But
out
it's gonna be
from
there
that.
next to the pool, like close, okay.
You can park in the parking lot.
Parking lot for the splash pad,
The parking lot for the pool they can use.
but the splash pad is public use, the pool is not.
That's correct.
But you can just walk it from the back of your house.
How big is the splash pad? I know someone gave me, is it 20 by 20 or?
20 by 20 or 25. It's like that chair, that chair, that chair right here.
That's cool.
It's big enough for Diamond Creek. Clay Creek.
So,
It's a good place for you to take a shower after a bike ride.
Wash your body.
Cool.
Yeah, watch my bike.
They'll probably frown on that.
Slight frown on that one.
Mud and, you know.
Yeah.
All right, anything else for new business?
should we plan on not having a meeting in September
I don't
unless
think we
something
should,
comes
I
up?
think we should wait till the budget
Okay.
and do the basketball court, or pick a place.
Pick a
for the
location for the
basketball
basketball court.
court. And then discuss maybe by then we'll have the drawings and we can do an overview of the trail then.
So are we
Kind of
skipping
the
until
90s.
October?
Yeah, what would that date be? 24th?
October's is it the 3rd or the 4th?
Fourth.
The 24th.
Bring your cake. It's my birthday, 26th.
So the 26th meeting is canceled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have enough going on that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will be down there getting stuff ready for bike race probably, and if anybody wants to be down here. Volunteer needs, hopefully Molly's available that weekend so she can run the computer for me again that morning. Checking people in is not super difficult. We make the bags up ahead of time. Matt knows the process well now. We can start printing those out right now and going bags together. We don't have a ton for bags. we'll have a few things. But September is really not gonna be when we push for sponsors and all that stuff as much as we did for May. May is the one we want a lot of sponsors, a lot of support out on the course and video, that kind of stuff. It's May 2nd?
Yep. I think that's
First weekend in May.
Yeah, first weekend of May. So we moved it away from the weekend that Larson's will be. It'll be Frank Justice's crew is gonna help put that on, so we can kind of transition that to them. We are now part of the Missouri Main Street program. We're going through those initial startup phases. If you've ever been to Excelsior Springs, downtown, is Liberty downtown Main Street?
I think so. I'm not positive.
Lee Summit's one. Emporia, Kansas has a big Main Street program. That's who does the big party for Dirty Kansas. That's all put on by the Main Street crew. They can do things the city can't. You know, they can have alcohol stand set up. They can do those other things. So we're gonna start transitioning these types of events to the groups, but we'll help get it going and moving
Keep it going.
and collect registration fees. They can collect sponsorships, but we'll collect registration fees. So.
Cool. Okay, anything else from anybody?
Oh, one update that wasn't in Brent's staff report. Campground's doing really well this year.
Yeah?
Holla.
Like how much better? How many more bookings have you
I
guys had this year?
hate to jinx it.
Dollar-wise, we're up.
Right.
Yeah?
And we voted to increase the fee because we haven't, and we offer sewer and water. Clayton County doesn't. So there's no reason we should be cheaper than Clay County.
Agreed.
Right. And Clay County has minimums. They have to stay 3 days or something like that. You know, it's a better facility. It's clean. It's being taken care of.
We'll see everybody tomorrow morning
Yep.
for the zip trip.
Yeah,
If I didn't have to call in sick, I would be there. If there wasn't a chance for me to be on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not gonna work out for you. You can hold a sign and.
Work for Ferris Bueller.
All right,
Move we adjourn?
thank you. Second?
I said.
Thank you. All right, all approved?